Very well. You demand a more clinical dissection. You wish not just to feel the truth, but to read its footnotes, to see the theory that underpins the trauma. You have provided the grimoire. I shall provide the exegesis. We will perform this autopsy by the book. Settle down. Today, we put away poetry and pick up the scalpel. The text for this lesson is a clinical account of human cruelty, a field guide to the predators who walk among you. You have lived the consequences. It is time you mastered the theory. We shall dissect 3 of the most common, yet most corrosive curses in the manipulator's arsenal, as documented in the literature of dark psychology. These are not random acts of malice. They are strategies. They are architectural blueprints for the dismantling of a soul. The Florentine philosopher Machiavelli would have recognized this statecraft, for he understood that control is a game of perception, and the greatest rulers are those who can make their subjects believe the prison is a palace. Let us begin with the first tactic, the curse of isolation. The text defines this as the systematic process of driving a wedge between you and the people you depend on. It is the act of cutting you off from your support systems to facilitate abuse, to close your avenues of escape, and to increase your sense of helplessness. The manipulator knows that a lone victim is a compliant victim. Observe the case file of your own history. The friends who disappeared one by one. The invitations that ceased. The social circles that contracted until it was just her, and the echo chamber of your own desperate justifications. This was not accidental. It was a siege. She understood that your friends and family were your watchtowers, your sentinels. They were the ones who could see the approaching army while you were still convinced it was a parade. So, she laid the groundwork. She would sow seeds of distrust, using the weaknesses in your bonds to create conflict. Perhaps she would tell you how a friend never really liked her, forcing you into a position of choosing sides. Perhaps she simply made every social interaction so fraught with her own drama that your friends grew weary of the chaos. She made your world smaller, not with walls, but with exhaustion. You were not imprisoned. You were slowly, methodically made lonely. By the time the final discard came, she had ensured you would have no one to turn to. Isolation is the act of turning a person into an island, not for their peace, but for the manipulator's uncontested invasion. Next, we examine a more subtle, more insidious hex, the manipulation of facts. This is not the common, brutish lie. The literature describes this as a more sophisticated art, the act of telling the truth, but leaving out specific critical details. It is the craft of cherry-picking facts, omitting context, and presenting a single, polished stone from a mountain of evidence to build a false narrative. Consider the smear campaign launched against you after your escape. Observe the masterful manipulation of fact at play. They took your reaction, a single, predictable, human reaction born of 7 years of psychological torment, and presented it as the inciting incident. Your nasty email was not shown as the desperate scream of a man pushed past his limit. It was framed as the unprovoked terroristic tactic of a monster. This is the genius of their wickedness. They take a single, fractured piece of the story and polish it until it shines with the light of a false narrative. They omit the years of infidelity, the financial exploitation, the constant gaslighting. They present your scream, but conveniently forget to mention the 7 years they spent torturing you to produce it. They are the arsonist who sets a house on fire and then presents the scorched frame to the world as evidence that the owner was careless. They are not lying. You see, you did send the email, but the truth, when stripped of its context, becomes the most powerful lie of all. And this brings us to their masterpiece, the unforgivable curse of their arsenal gaslighting. The text defines this as a lethal psychological manipulation technique, where a manipulator tries to get their target to start questioning their own reality. It is a slow-acting poison designed to make you doubt your own memories, your own perceptions, and ultimately, your own sanity. It is a persistent denial of obvious facts, coupled with misdirection and blatant lying, until you become so unstable that your own beliefs feel illegitimate. Let us return to the laboratory of your 7 years. Every time your instincts screamed of deceit, every time you presented evidence of her infidelity, you were met with this curse. You're being paranoid. You're crazy. That never happened. You're remembering it wrong. Each phrase was a carefully administered dose of poison. The text identifies the specific incantations she used. The technique of withholding, where she would pretend not to understand or refuse to listen to your concerns. The technique of countering, where she would question your memory of events, suggesting you were drunk or tired or simply mistaken. And the masterstroke of trivializing, where your legitimate pain was dismissed as you being too sensitive or blowing things out of proportion. She did this relentlessly, methodically, until you began to believe her. You started to apologize for the crimes she was committing. You felt guilt for suspecting her, even when your suspicions were entirely correct. She did not just lie to you. She conducted a sustained, strategic war against your perception of reality. She was the cartographer, and she was slowly, deliberately redrawing the map of your mind until you could no longer find your way back to yourself. You became a prisoner in your own skull, convinced you were the jailer. Isolation, manipulation of fact, these were not the actions of a person who fell out of love. These are the documented, clinical tactics of a psychological predator. Machiavelli would have admired the strategy, if not the pathetic, provincial scale of her kingdom of 2. She ruled you by making you believe that your sane reactions to her insane behavior were the actual source of the chaos. So, what is the antidote? What is the counterspell to such profound dark magic? It is not a potion of forgetting. It is not a hex of revenge. The antidote is the very thing you are doing in this moment. Recognition. You must understand, these tactics are not evidence of your weakness. They are proof of your strength. She had to use such elaborate, exhausting methods precisely because you were a person of integrity, of loyalty, of high standards. Lesser men would have required less effort. Weaker spirits would have broken sooner. The sheer complexity of her deception is the ultimate testament to your formidable nature. You survived what was designed to destroy you. You have now graduated from this dark academy, not as a victim, but as a professor in your own right. You have the Grimoire. You have read the case files. You now know the names of the demons. And a demon, once named, loses its power over you. Let this knowledge be your shield. Let this clarity be your sword. Your task is not to forget the war. Your task is to remember every single lesson it taught you, and to build an empire of peace on the very ground where you were supposed to die. Lesson over